of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamonds Unbreakable, episode 35, parts 1 of Bites the Dust. So in this episode, we find out about Hayato's fate. Did he get away from Kira, or did he get killed? And, well, technically he did get killed by Kira, but then something later on happened unexpectedly. So we get a flashback of seeing what happened in the bathroom afterward, the cliffhanger ending in the previous episode. Hayato was about to make a run for it, but Kira wasn't having any of that and used Killer Queen to grab onto Hayato's head and then blew him up. He pressed the switch and the bomb detonated, which was really bad timing and very unfortunate for Hayato. And Kira had to hide the body in the bathroom closet so that Shinobu wouldn't find out. But as I said before, this was bad timing because Raimi was able to point out that there was a connection between Hayato and Kosaku since both of them were in Rohan's photos. So thanks to Raimi, Rohan and Koichi now know that there's something going on between Hayato and his father. They don't know exactly for sure, but they're going to gather everyone up. And when I mean everyone up, I mean all the main cast of characters to meet up and question Hayato about his father. And coincidentally, Yoshihiro happened to be there to spy on them and hear all of this, so he had to go to the Kawajiri residence to warn his son about this. I guess, you're still spying on them to find out if Cheap Trick killed Rohan, but nope, did it! So yeah, Yoshihiro tells Kira about what he heard and what he witnessed, and I thought it was strange at first that Kira was used to the fact that his father was there, his ghost dad in the photo, but I mean, he didn't even say hi to him. I mean, we didn't get like a hello between father and son, but then again, I mean, Yoshihiro was a ghost inside Kira's house for God knows how long, so maybe Kira was aware that his ghost dad was there. I fucking know. It's weird, but whatever. Anyway, back on track here. Kira starts to panic and he starts biting his nails right after he got Shinobu away from the bathroom. This is something that he does ever since he was a child. Whenever things don't go his way and there was no way that he could fix it or do anything about it, he'd always bite his nails. And he bit his nails so hard that he was even starting to bite the tips of his fingers, causing his fingers to bleed. So Kira was seriously in a panic, and there were no other options left now that he knows that Josuke and the others were going to meet up and question Hayato about Kosaku. So the only other option left, according to Yoshihiro, was to leave Morio. But that's something that Kira does not want to do because Morio is his hometown, this is where he grew up, and he was tired of living his life in fear, expecting someone to go after him. So he refuses to leave Morio. But luckily, his prayers get answered in the form of the arrow. The arrow apparently acted on its own, like it sensed Kira's panic and desperation and determination to stay in Morio. The arrow pierced all the way into his arm, going up to the shoulder, and then pierced right out onto his neck. And then some weird shit happened, like he started spazzing out, you get like brief flashes of Killer Queen, and then he gets sucked into a void, and then all of a sudden it's the next day. Yeah, that was really strange, but what was even more strange is the fact that Hayato the next day is alive. Like, he didn't get killed at all. And then we even get to see Kira, who is sporting a new hairdo, by the way. His hair is now white and slicked back. Which, by the way, apparently when Kira combed back his hair turned white. I don't know how the hell that happened or how the hell that works, but yeah, his hair is now white. And he's more relaxed, he's more calm, he's more happy, and it was strange. Like, nobody had no idea what was going on except for Kira. We even get like a brief flashback on what happened on that night between Yoshihiro and Kira, and it turns out that Kira gained a third ability. A third bomb, Bites the Dust. And that was why Kira was so relaxed. Yeah, it turns out that the arrow can not only give non-stand users stands if they're compatible with the arrow, but it can also give stand users new abilities. What the fuck? I I mean, talk about like a freaking Deus Ex Machina or a MacGuffin, whatever you want to call it, but oh my god, I swear, when I get to part 5 better explain the ever-living crap out of this thing, because this is the last time we'll get to learn something new about it. God damn it. Okay, so what is the new ability Bites the Dust? Well, Bites the Dust is the 3rd bomb from Killer Queen, which is implanted inside Hayato. If someone finds out through Hayato, whether he tells them or not, that Kira is Kosaku, or if they start asking questions about his dad, about his dad's identity, then Bites the Dust will activate. And it will kill anyone who will find out about Kira's identity, or starts questioning about Kira's identity. But this is where things start to get crazier. When Bites the Dust activates, it sends Hayato back in time to the exact same location and day. Bites the Dust can go back in time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we got time travel in Jojo. Fucking hell. And so yeah, that explains why Kira was so relaxed and at ease. And he's willing to become a nice, happy family with Shinobu, and even with Hayato, who knows about Kira's identity since he let it slip, but there's no need to kill Hayato thanks to Bites the Dust. Hayato and Kira are the only ones that know that time has been reversed. I mean, granted, Kira doesn't know exactly what happened since he wasn't there with Hayato, but he does know that time was reversed when Bites the Dust activated. And since Hayato has the memories of what will happen in the future, he does know what certain events will happen and how they'll play out. For example, when Shinobu was asking Hayato to answer the phone, she runs and then slips on the rug and then breaks her teapot. And this caused her to get angry and frustrated and yells at Hayato. Well, I mean, I did hear about the things that happened with Shinobu, and I mean, I want to sympathize with her, but sometimes I feel like that's not cool of what she said to Hayato. But then again, I mean, Hayato wasn't the perfect son himself, so yeah, that did cause a little bit of tension between the two, but it was all cooled down thanks to Kira, who, by the way, gives Shinobu a goodbye kiss, which I wasn't expecting him to finally kiss her, but I feel like that's because he wanted to rub it in Hayato's face. But I also wouldn't have minded if he wanted to kiss Shinobu. I'm just saying, you know. So thanks to Bites the Dust, Hayato knows about Kira's identity, but he has to live through with that for the rest of his life without telling anyone, otherwise he would unintentionally kill someone. We also get a demonstration on the ability Bites the Dust as Rohan meets up with Hayato. Of course, Hayato starts to panic and run away for some reason, so Rohan had to use Heaven's Door to read Hayato's memories. But the weird thing is that he got a warning to not read any further, which he does. Hayato's memories contain things that would happen in the future within a few seconds, which is really strange, but this was because of the effects of Bites the Dust. But he eventually got to a page where it said that Kosaku Kawajiri is Yoshikage Kira. So Rohan finally learned that Kira is Kosaku. So you'd think that would be great. No. Because as I said before, if someone finds out about Kira's identity through Hayato, then they die. As Rohan goes to the next page, and it says, Rohan Kishibe was also killed. He was killed by Kira, who has matured. Something comes out of Hayato's page, and it turns out to be a little tiny Killer Queen that is implanted in Rohan's eye. So Rohan couldn't use his stand to attack it. And once it's inside his eye, Rohan was done for. The switch was pressed, and Rohan blows up and dies. But before he blows up, he sees Koichi and Jotaro there right at the corner. He tries to crawl to them, but he was hurt so bad that he couldn't go any further. And right before he dies, his last words were, Koichi-kun! Yelling out to Koichi was the last thing that he could do. But luckily, everything turned out to be okay since Hayato went back in time and it never happened. So yeah, quite scared there, Araki. Don't do that ever again. I mean, you did that with Polnareff. Don't do that with Rohan. Like, seriously, don't. Fuck. So Hayato now has to live with the fact that he can't turn to anyone for help. Otherwise, they'll get killed through him, thanks to Bites the Dust. And he has no choice but to live with Kira, trying to act like a nice, happy family. So yeah, that was episode 35 of Diamonds Unbreakable. Overall, this was a very tense episode. I mean, goddamn, Bites the Dust was something I was not expecting at all. I mean, freaking time travel in Jojo. But I am starting to notice a bit of like a pattern here. I don't know if it's just me, but ever since stands were introduced, the main villain stands ability have always been time-based. I mean, part 3, we had Dio stand the world that can stop time. And now part 4, we have Kira's Killer Queen that can go back in time. And I am kind of aware about the abilities of the stands from the main villains of parts 5 and 6 and even 7. I'm starting to sense like the pattern that the main villain stands abilities will always be time-based. So I'm assuming that's going to be the case with parts 5 and 6 and maybe 7. And Bites the Dust, it's a pretty crazy ability. But I do have some questions about this. So let's say that several years have passed since that day. Like, Hayato is much older and someone just so happens to ask about Kira's identity. Bites the Dust will activate and he'll have to go back in time to that exact same day. Would he actually go back to the time where he is just a little kid? If that's the case, then geez, that's kind of messed up. I mean, goddamn, Kira. Also, the arrow can grant other stand users abilities. As I said before, I really hope that Part 5 and Oreo will explain more about this arrow because I need to know more about this goddamn thing, like Jesus. And of course there is Kira's new look. I looked it up. Apparently he is nicknamed Mature Kira with the slick back white hair, which I don't know how he got that. I guess it's a side effect from the arrow. But the nickname Mature Kira, it's more straightforward but not as funny as Hi Dio from Part 3. But yeah, Kira has matured. He's got a new ability from Killer Queen. Killer Queen, I mean, how did we go from anything it touches turns into a bomb to a portion of Killer Queen that acts as an automatic heat-seeking tank bomb to a bomb that can send its vessel back in time? How did we get to that at this point? But yeah, Bites the Dust, crazy ability, but it's a really interesting one. But I feel like Hayato isn't gonna go along with this. I feel like Hayato has to like let other people know about Kira, since now he is aware that there are others like Kira, and you know, he knows about Rohan. He doesn't know about Josuke and the others, but he knows about Rohan. So, since Rohan didn't die, since, you know, time was reversed, Hayato has to not meet up with Rohan so he doesn't, you know, explode and die. But I don't know how Hayato will combat against Kira since he's not a stand user. But again, he is the key to reveal Kira's identity to Josuke and the others. So maybe he has to find out a way to deactivate Bites the Dust so that he can tell Rohan and Josuke and everyone else. Or he could probably find out a way to tell them to reveal Kira's identity, but without him saying anything, without him getting involved at all in some way. That's how I think that Hayato will reveal Kira's identity. For animation and artwork, for the most part, it was good. It was alright. I did like the effect of when Kira got stabbed by the arrow. It was really weird, but I did like the effects used on that. Plus, the effects when Hayato goes back in time was kind of strange. But I did notice that there was some sort of like 3D effect going on with the ripples when it started raining. I thought that was a really nice touch. So yeah, overall, pretty tense episode. Lots of surprises and reveals. Bites the Dust was not something I'd expect, but I actually really liked it. Now, there's actually something I do need to point out. I do need to say something about it because I just realized this before I started recording the review. And this will contain a spoiler to Part 5 and to audio. So if you see the spoiler warning, avoid this since this is a spoiler for Part 5. So in Part 5, I learned something about this through the video game's All-Star Battle. It's about the main character from Part 5, Giorno Giovanna, and his stand gold experience. In the video games, if you play as Giorno, there's a special that you can do where Giorno stabs himself with an arrowhead and he obtains a new stand ability and new form, Gold Experience Requiem. which is the new version of Gold Experience, which I assume is because of the arrow. So is Killer Queen now Killer Queen Requiem? Because I'm assuming the Requiem is used for Stan to obtain a new form and ability through the arrow. But the thing is, Killer Queen looks the same, but it still has a new ability. So is this a Requiem stand, or is this just Killer Queen? Is it not Killer Queen Requiem? I'm not sure. So, tell me guys, what did you think of this episode of Diamonds Unbreakable? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think about Bites to Dust and Kira's new look? I mean, his hair turned white when he brushed back his hair. What the fuck was up with that? Also, were you worried about Rohan? Did you think that he was gonna die like I did? Because, like, I thought he was gonna die. I didn't want him to die because I was starting to like the guy, you know, even though he's an asshole. But I'm glad he's alive because I am relieved with that. Also, any ideas as to how Hayato will combat against Kira and deal with Bites to Dust? Is there a way to stop it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you like it, and subscribe to my videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamonds Unbreakable episode 35. I'm going to spawn 27, and I'll see you guys next time on part 2 of Bites to Dust in episode 36. See ya.